Hello, everyone, and welcome to Dreamleapers Inspiration. I'm your host, Harriette Cole. As always, delighted to be with you, to connect with you wherever you are for a dose of inspiration. I started these broadcasts at the very beginning of the COVID pandemic, and amazingly, so that was in March. We are now in November, in the closing of the year. This is the time of year when folks start winding down, in a sense, beginning to think about what they want to do to close out the year, what they may not have paid attention to that is really important, what they look forward to moving into the next year. And, this is our time of beginning an assessment. Also, we're getting close to the holidays. And so for Thanksgiving, we are thinking of practicing gratitude and also wondering how we're going to do that when very often millions of Americans travel to be with family. And there's a big question as to whether we're going to do that. There are lots of questions in our lives, lots of unanswered issues, topics, concerns. And I have talked to a number of people. Now, this is also post-election, but we still are in the midst of the election. So, there's so much going on that feels like it's in flux. And I have talked to a number of people who say that they just want to take to their bed. They just want to take a nap. They're tired, they're exhausted emotionally, sometimes physically, and wanting to do something that might take away the stress. I had a very close friend, Jonelle Nash. Some of you may have known her. She was a food editor at Essence for many, many years. And when she would get stressed, she would literally say, I'm going to take to my bed. She was the queen of naps. She was able to go and curl up in her bed, take a nap, and wake up refreshed the next day and ready for whatever the next adventure or challenge might be. I haven't been good at that. I am one who's got so much energy. I usually have to do something in order to burn off some energy or figure out next. But in the past couple of weeks, I've actually taken a couple of naps in the middle of the day, which is just something I don't have time to do and don't even think of doing. But I'm mentioning it because I realize energy-wise, there's so much going on that I was feeling drained. Feeling like, wow, I have so many things to do. I'm grateful for all of the things that are on my list to do. And I'm tired. I'm feeling exhausted in certain ways. And I wonder if you have that feeling at all. Because when you feel exhausted, whether it is physical exhaustion, emotional, mental exhaustion, whatever the reasons are, it can be hard to feel motivated. You can, like my friend Jonelle said, I just want to take to my bed. I want to take a nap. And I interviewed Susan Taylor, the former editor-in-chief and now editor-in-chief emerita of Essence Magazine, who was my boss for 11 years. I just interviewed her yesterday. And by the way, you can watch that interview on the AARP Black Community Facebook page. And she talked about a lot of things, but she talked about a reality check for us. Well, sometimes if you feel tired, take a nap. Sometimes if you feel down, allow yourself a day to feel down. Don't deny the feeling or ignore the feeling, emotion, state that you may be in a particular moment. Allow yourself to experience whatever it is that's going on for you. But then you need to push on and you need to, refresh like you do on the computer If you refresh a window on the computer and something was changed from the first time, it will refresh and be fresh and be whatever it's supposed to be in the moment. And so, how do we do that for ourselves? How do we refresh ourselves so that we can feel able to climb out of a malaise, get up when we feel exhausted, push on when we feel like we want to pull the covers over our heads? How can we do that? On the one hand, as Susan said, give yourself that day. If you really are feeling like you don't have any energy, you can't push forward right now, take a pause, take a nap. If you are really feeling down, get some help. This time of year is a time that many people suffer from emotional distress. There's a lot more depression and anxiety that people are feeling worldwide, and very, very much in minority communities, because there was already stress, already financial distress, and then COVID and the economic downfall and all the things that are occurring in our world have only made it that much more difficult for people to feel that they can survive, let alone thrive. If you feel that there's something crippling you, paralyzing you deep inside, get help. You can get help for free. You can call suicide hotline. You can look up there are therapists that are offered through talk lines, through chat lines, every kind of way to get help. But beyond that extreme of, which is perfectly fine if you have it, of needing to get some kind of intervention help, some kind of medical, psychological support. Beyond that, what can you do for yourself in the moment? How can you motivate yourself when you may not feel like you've got the energy for it? When you feel exhausted, when you feel like things aren't really going your way and you've been working so hard on something and maybe it's time to give up on that. I want you to think about how you can motivate yourself in those moments when you're not so sure. So, I always look up quotes. I have a couple I want to share. Here's because, my brand is Dreamleapers, and I'm always looking for people to discover how they can access and activate their dreams and take the steps to make those dreams come true. And by the way, saying that is nowhere near as challenging as doing it, because the doing of it requires focused, determined action over a sustained period of time. So who could we look at for inspiration about dreams? How about Walt Disney? And for those of you who don't know, he was a real person, Walt Disney, whose imagination was so incredibly vast that he dreamed up a world of creativity and animation and characters, and just a world that continues to thrive today. And here's what he had to say: all our dreams can come true if we have the courage to pursue them. Now, this is about motivation, so hear this again. All our dreams can come true if we have the courage to pursue them. Now, I talk about this all the time with Dreamleapers. Very often on our list of things to do, which is usually long for most people, there are just daily tasks for our family, for our home, for our work, for our daily lives that often can feel rote, but they're very important. The daily tasks for work during COVID can feel incredibly daunting because our time is different. We before, when most people were going out to work, you at least had an hour on the front end, an hour on the back end that were at the very least transition times when you're getting ready, you're heading to work, you're completed work, you're heading home. Let's say at the least 2 hours. Today, how much time do you have? If you work the way that I do, via a computer, via this kind of communication online, on video, you get up, you take your shower, you exercise. Do you exercise? You get yourself together and you sit for hours and hours and hours. And often the transition to next is standing up and walking into the kitchen to cook some food, or to, if you live with people, to talk to your family and your roommates. If you don't, to pick up the phone, still sitting and talking to other people. But where in there is your dream? Where in there do you carve out the time to pursue your dream? I want to encourage us to build the dream into the day. You know that I'm a big believer in lists. Put the dream as a topic on your list. You can call it my dream list. You can name the dream. And then what are the steps that you're going to take today that will motivate you and keep you going? As Walt Disney says, if you have the courage to work on it, then it can happen. What does he say? All our dreams can come true if we have the courage to pursue them. That is so powerful. Okay, but here's another one. There's so many here, but here's a good one because it's really about kind of the realities of pushing forth and pushing through. This says, and this is from Michael Jordan, one of the all-time greatest athletes, basketball players in the world. He says, I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. I've failed over and over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed. Isn't that good? Listen to this again. Michael Jordan. So for anybody who doesn't fully know his story, you should look him up. He is thought to be one of the greatest athletes who ever lived in our world. And here's what he had to say. I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. I've failed over and over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed. So for him, motivation is getting past that failure, perfecting his game, getting back up and doing it again. Things don't work so well this time. He doesn't crumble into a ball and just bury himself. He might take that nap, but he gets back up and perfects his skills and moves forward. I loved reading that because on the one hand, with Walt Disney, yes, if you continue to pursue your dream and have the courage to do it, you can make it happen. But what happens in the middle of that? He didn't describe that. Michael Jordan describes that even someone at the top, at the tippy top of his game, has failure. And we've talked about failure on and off a lot here with Dreamleapers Inspiration. And I just think it's important for every single one of us to know we're going to fail at things. Failure is part of the continuum, like it or not. And so I want us to understand, like Michael Jordan said, so what? So what he lost games, a whole bunch of them. So what? He was given the responsibility of making that winning shot and lost. He didn't go hide. He didn't end his life. His career didn't end. He got back up, worked on it again, perfected his game, and continued. This is the part that I think is important for us to concentrate on, to be motivated, to understand that no matter what happens, you get back up, you muster up your courage and all of your strength. If you're under those covers, you pull the covers back, you get up, you refresh yourself, and you work on it again. You don't give up. You work on it every day. Remember I told you before, if you spend 1 hour every day working on your dream, something will manifest. Now, if you spend 1 hour a week, 1 hour a month, a couple of minutes here, a couple of minutes there, you're going to get the return on that investment, which is very little. If you have the courage to continue to pursue your dream and the fortitude to lift yourself up when you fail, dust yourself off and keep moving, learn from your mistakes, let that be the motivation to help you reach your goal. So there are a few things that I just mentioned that I want us to keep in mind that are very practical. Make a list every day. Include your dream on your list. Break down steps that you can fulfill today and each day on your list, and then check them off. If you break it down into manageable steps, you will be able to take concrete action toward your goal. That's part of the courage to work on it through the end. If you feel that you're just worn out, you can give yourself a day, but then get back up and push through. If you feel that you have failed at something, accept whatever the failure is, look at it closely, pay attention to it, learn from whatever you did that was a mistake. Whatever it takes to learn. Sometimes it takes research. Sometimes it takes getting feedback. Sometimes it takes more practice. Sometimes it takes education. You could fail at something because you don't really know how to do it. So learn how to do it. Take a class. Ask others to help you be informed. Collaborate with someone if you need help in order to make that dream manifest and you can't do everything yourself. Figure out why you failed and then apply what you've learned to your dream so that you can continue to pursue it. Don't give up on yourself. Brush yourself off if you fail. Step back up and try again. And I want to add, surround yourself with people who will tell you the truth the way that you can hear it. And when you're feeling a little tender, contact someone who will talk to you in a loving way and help you honestly to figure out what to do next. You have the capacity to leap into your dreams and to make them come true. I want you to practice that. Write the dream down, write down steps to make it manifest, and then follow your plan. Can you do that? I know you can. I know you can do it. We all can do it. We can do it together. We can share with each other what we're learning. You can go over to the Dreamleapers Inspiration group that I created on Facebook and talk about what you're doing to motivate yourself right now. I would love to hear from you. You can also share with your friends that this Dreamleapers Inspiration broadcast is now available as a podcast. So you can access it anytime you want by going to the places where podcasts are available. I appreciate your support. I appreciate you. And I just hope that you will take this day to motivate yourself into your greatness. You deserve to have that fulfilled feeling of giving it your all, of having the courage to push forth to make your dreams come true, of having the fortitude to rise above your failures and make yourself even better. Are you ready to do it? I sure hope so. Thank you so much for being with me. Until next time, have a great day and make it count. Namaste.